Chad Bettis on the hill trying to finish off the homestand with a flourish as the Rockies look for a sweep of the team with the best record in baseball, the St. Louis Cardinals. Kolten Wong will be the guy to try and get an offense cranked up that has been shut down as this road swing for the Cardinals has continued. Here's the lineup of Mike Matheny this afternoon, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fares now at southwest.com. Johnny Peralta, a home run last night. He's been one of the few Cardinals hitting well on the swing to L.A. and Denver. Wong, Carpenter, Peralta, same as last night, as well as Reynolds. Grichuk moves up in the order. Jason Hayward back in the lineup, and Peter Borges in center field. He hit a home run last night, and we are ready to go right now. Chad Bettis, as you mentioned, Jeff, Rockies are perfect when he's been on the hill.
Well, and it's good for Chad because last year he did not make any starts. He was that reliever. He was flip-flopping. In 2013, in 8 starts, he was 0-3 with the .502. How about this year? 33 in the third innings, just 9 walks. He is attacking the strike zone, saying, I belong. He changed his mechanics, did some work in the springtime, and it has paid dividends.
2 balls and a strike on Wong, who has a home run in the series, but 2 for his last 14. I just like with Bettis, it's the mix of pitches. It seemed like previously he felt if he didn't have his fastball, he didn't have it.
Well, and remember, he was throwing his fastball harder then. Now he's backed off to get more location.
And then that sets up, you get strikes with the fastball. It leads to the off-speed stuff, which has been killer for him.
72 miles an hour. He's not afraid to throw the curveball here at altitude. And why not? When it's this good, use it. And that's just a dandy strikeout pitch. Comes out of the hand for the hitter, looking like it's a strike at the knees. I better swing. And then you swing over the top, you tag out, and you're walking to the dugout.
Matt Carpenter, the Cards' third baseman, suffered through the first 4 strikeout game of his career last night. Still hitting .294, even though he's been in a slump of late. And this won't help it. Rosario feeds Bettis, and it's in time. Matt Carpenter let him crawl out of here quietly, is 0 for his last 14. Defensively for the Rockies, it is the same, except that first base and catcher as last night. Barnes Blackman got cargo across the outfield. Well, one more. I forgot Daniel Descalso in there this afternoon for Tulo, and Willeen Rosario at first with Nick Hundley back behind the plate. And it's been nice for Walt Weiss in terms of picking the times to give Troy those designated days off. It's paid dividends. This ball hit hard, but right at Charlie Blackmon. Johnny Peralta retired, and in very short order, Chad Bettis takes care of the Cardinals. and get him some early support. Charlie Blackmon will lead things off for Walt Weiss as we look at the rest of the Rockies order, brought to us by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. With Tulo getting the day off, Nolan Arenado slots third behind the number 2 hitter in the National League now, DJ LeMahieu. Daniel Descalso will hit between 2 right-handed batters to give some left-right balance. And Brandon Barnes quietly has had a good homestand.
They're going up against Carlos Martinez today, who is 9-2. Or the Cards are 9-2 in his 11 starts. Made 1 relief appearance. Pretty hard thrower. And if you notice the number 18 on his back, well, last year he was 44, but he switched to 18, which was Oscar Taveras' number, to honor his late friend.
He had a game against the Dodgers in St. Louis where they honored the memory of Taveras before the game. It was very emotional. And there you see the OT.
You saw that OT on the side of the jerseys for Oscar.
This will be an easy chance for Wong as they get Blackmon to start the afternoon. And defensively, the infield will be important because Martinez gets a lot of ground ball outs. Grichuk in left, Borges in center, Hayward in right. The infield the same as we've seen throughout the series. Reynolds, Wong, Peralta, Carpenter first to third. And no surprise, Yadier Molina again behind the plate. You work most of the time with Yadier if you're a Cardinals pitcher.
Remember Eddie Guardado, everyday Eddie? Well, it's everyday Yadi almost. Pudge Rodriguez was like that when I played with Pudge. He took very few days off.
There's what Martinez does very well. You'll see a lot of guys hitting the top half of the baseball, pounding it down.
And it's a hard sinker. 94, almost 95 miles an hour on average with the sinking fastball.
This is fair, and DJ's going to have another 2-bagger. One of the hottest hitters in the National League, LeMahieu, gets double number 8, and the Rockies have an early scoring opportunity.
I say you want to come inside. I've hit some the opposite way. Now you're going to come in with the sinker. I'll open my hips and pull my hands through and hit it down the line.
DJ's
he's just amazing. I mean, I've been in some of those where it'll last for 3, 4, 5 games, not for almost 3 months now, 3.5 months. He's 11 for his last 20.
That's pretty good. So Nolan Arenado keeps climbing in the RBI category in baseball. Second in the National League now and has a run scoring chance here. Two and 0, and Nolan, well, let's see, game 1.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take a high fastball and hit it out for a 2-run shot. And then last night was the important one. Rockies are down by 2. Michael Walker is just flat out dealing. And he makes one mistake. And Nolan made him say, I got this. It's going to be tied up after I walk around the bases or jog.
In this month of June, he and Tulo are leading the National League in runs batted in. And how about Nolan? Those 12 RBIs have all come on this homestand.
Think about that. 24 RBIs for just Nolan and Tulo in June. The Cardinals as a ball club, they have only 27 combined, all the guys.
Yeah, that was the number that you go, wow.
I had to double check to make sure that it wasn't a misprint. They didn't mean 47 for the team.
3-0 now on Arenado with first base open, even with a red hot Cargo on deck. They're being very careful with Nolan. On the year, Arenado, excuse me, Jeff, 423 with runners in scoring position.
I was just going to say, they might not throw him a fastball.
They throw him a ball, and it's nicely played by Carpenter. LeMahieu waited and now will advance to third. Good play by Matt Carpenter. Known more for his bat than his glove, but came up big there.
Well, he had to figure that Nolan would be swinging and caught it on the heel of the glove, kept it in the glove. Watch on the Subaru Supermo. It didn't trap into the webbing. And when you hit the ground and you're trying to stumble and come up and make the throw, your hand goes into the webbing of the glove. It doesn't go to the heel. So that was a good play from Matt Carpenter.
Michael Wacha worked out of a first inning jam last night. Martinez trying to do it as Cargo's the hitter, and he will be robbed of a hit by Wong. Colton Wong saves a run. Good defense to the last two hitters. First Carpenter, now Colton Wong. That keeps the game scoreless after one.
Not only coming into this year, but the last couple of years. But as of late, we've had some conversations too. I just want to keep him strong, and I told him that's what I'm going to do. So I want him to feel strong that when he's out there, he can take his best shot and let it eat and do what he's been doing.
Yeah, he's hot, but guys, they want to keep him strong. And this is the 10th week of Rockies baseball. This is the 11th time he hasn't started. So it's a game a week, and that's the plan they have. They're sticking to it. Right, Jack and Jeff?
You're exactly right, Mark, and especially this is a stretch of 17 days in a row of games, so you've got to pick some times to do it. Day game after a night game makes all the sense.
Well, it does, and you're also going to Miami where it's going to be humid and hot, even though you're playing inside. Same with Houston. And Daniel deserves to go out there and play. He's been hitting now the last 3 or 4 weeks for sure.
Lots of sun to deal with. DJ, no problem.
you can say no problem. He's got the glasses flipped down, battling some wind.
Game's always easier from up here. Come on, Huey.
DJ's, oh boy. I'm glad I caught that.
Yeah.
Because the sky now with where the sun is at 115, 130, you're hoping that ball doesn't go up into it.
And it's the wispy kind of clouds right now, which doesn't help either. Sometimes you get those thicker clouds. There's at least a little depth to it. Good breaking ball for a first pitch strike to Grichuk. I like Chad Bettis' tempo now as well. I mean, get the ball and throw, almost Mark Burley like.
Everybody likes it. I mean, everything. We like it. The players, more importantly, they like it because they feel like pitches and the play's going to happen, and I don't have time to sit around and think about anything else.
Grichuk, the young hitter, will be counted on more in the absence of Matt Holliday.
It's a lot to put on his plate because it's tough to replace a Holliday.
And the Cardinals also today, as you take a look at Matt in the third base dugout, got him with another breaking ball. Both strikeouts have come on the curveball. 5 up, 5 down for Chad Bettis.
On the Subaru Supermo, put the fingers together right on the seam, and then at the last moment when you're about ready to release it, that's when you snap that wrist.
Bettis now with 29 strikeouts in 35 innings. Scott Oberg had the big at bat against the guy at the plate, Yadier Molina, last night. Bases loaded in the 4-3 game, and Oberg got Molina to fly out to center field. 1 ball, 1 strike in this at bat for the veteran, hitting at .275. And this is another one dealing with the sun. Arenado called off by Descalso, and Daniel makes the play. 6 straight for Chad Bettis with a mixture of outs. No score. Your hometown Toyota stores. Let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Very nice right now here. We always talk about the threat of some weather because that's been the scenario throughout the spring, but very nice right now. Temperature cooler. It's in the mid-60s, 66 degrees at first pitch today.
Just enjoy the sun being out for a while.
Willeen Rosario helped key the Rockies' go-ahead rally last night with a pinch hit single. The Bull gets the start at first base today.
That pinch hit single was on a slider. It wasn't on a fastball.
See how well the Rockies have hit on this homestand. Lean among that group. Good movement on a fastball that also happened to be 97 miles an hour.
These are the counts he likes to throw the off-speed pitch, the changeup. That wasn't a changeup. That was 98. But he has one of the best changeups in the league. Toughest opponent's batting average against at .061.
Not yet 24, young Mr. Martinez, and got him with a breaking ball.
This was the slider. Harder than the one Chad Bettis throws, but still about 10 miles an hour different than his fastball.
Daniel Descalso, the former Cardinal, will take a strike to start the at bat. Rockies are 10-5 in the first 15 games in which Descalso has gotten the call in the starting lineup. And just outside the bag, 2 strikes on him.
I go back to that series in LA where he had an opportunity to go out and play some games in a row, and he had the home run, he had the double off the wall. His last 17 games hitting .372 with 11 RBIs.
1-2 now on the Northern Californian, who spent 5 years with the Cardinals. Playable in left for Grichuk. 2 down. Rockies fans, you can join the conversation with us. Send us your thoughts, photos via boy, my mouth is not working today, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Use the hashtag Toyota Talk. We'll show you some of your Toyota Talk comments throughout the game.
It's a little earlier than your normal.
No, I think
time.
it was the fortune cookie for dessert. That's what it was.
And you had 2 of them.
I know. See, if I had just one, it would have been okay.
Or the red velvet cake like I had.
Nick Cunley, the hitter now. Back to the good moving breaking ball for Martinez. Opposition hitting just .215 against him on the year. When he has command, he is awfully good. He'll throw a lot of pitches. He's among the league leaders in pitches per inning. But
he's only 23.
Yeah, and he already has 76 strikeouts on the year, so I guess you could allow the 31 walks he's issued in 69 innings.
It doesn't matter whether it's at home or the road. At home 3-1, out on the road 3-1.
Pretty well hit, but it's not going to stay fair. Nick has 5 homers on the year. Knocked in 4 runs on the homestand as he and Michael McHenry worked behind the plate.
That's always the balancing act for a manager. When to give your regular guy the rest? Is it going to be on the day game or give him the night before and have him start the day game?
This is going to be a tough chance. Peralta won't make a throw, and Nick will take the base hit. So obviously Walt said, well, I think he's going to get a hit his first time up, so I'm going to start him in the day game.
That's great managing.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what you do. I don't care who's at shortstop where this ball was hit in that 5.5 hole. Nobody's going to make that play. Just keep it from going to the outfield. Or also just check it, throw it back to Martinez.
So Brendan Barnes will get a chance to hit here in the 2nd inning. Brandon 2 for 8 in the first 2 games with a run batted in. One of the hits a double. It's Corey Dickerson moving closer to being ready, and the possibility sometime on this upcoming trip that Dickerson might be activated, and the Rockies would have to adjust the roster. Of course, with Kyle Parker up as well, there's more flexibility available, and in all likelihood it would be Barnes or Parker who would go down. There's Kyle. Earned his spot up with some torrid hitting for Albuquerque.
Barnes earned his spot with some torrid hitting here for the Rockies.
And that usual energy that he brings. Got him with the curveball. Second strikeout for Martinez. 2 innings in the books. No score. Here in Denver, softened just a little bit in the last couple of days, the Major League Baseball draft, and if you see right below Tyler Nevin, who was picked by the Rockies, Tate Matheny out of Mississippi State is going to play or try to play in the big leagues just like Dad.
Pretty nice list to be on. When you're talking about Terry Shumpert, his boy Nick, Kirk Gibson, Cam out of Michigan State, Moyer from Pepperdine,
Jamie's great-great-grandson.
Let's see if I get a text from Jamie on that one.
Jason Hayward did not start last night's game with De La Rosa on the mound. He made the final out of the game as a pinch hitter against John Axford.
Another congratulations out to Scott Service and his family. His son Tyler, who went to Princeton, was just drafted in the 27th round by Detroit. Tyler, imagine that, he's a catcher too.
Yeah, what a shot. 2-2 now on Hayward. Got hit in the face like Giancarlo Stanton, wears a little different protective device than Stanton does. Do you ever have to have anything like that?
No. Thank my lucky stars every day.
Think about it, but just to come back and play.
Yeah, just to come back, that's the first, but then come back and still be as good.
Got him with another off-speed pitch. All 3 strikeouts for Bettis, changing speeds.
That is 30 strikeouts in 35 2/3 inning now for Chad. Downward action. But for Chad, when he made all those starts in 2013, he only had 23 strikeouts in 37 innings. But he didn't have this breaking pitch that he had then.
Yeah, all he knew to do then really was if he got in trouble, try and throw harder.
Harder is better? No,
Yeah.
it's not. And he realized that's not going to work.
Well, I love the Rockies' approach. They told him in spring training, or actually even before it started, you're going to be a starter. And guess what? You're going to start the year at AAA. You might not even see that much action in spring training, but we're going to tweak things, fine-tune things so that when you're ready, you'll have all your weapons.
And to his credit, he embraced that. He didn't fight it. He just said, no, this is me. This is who I am. He said, I want to be a better pitcher. I don't want to be just a thrower. So we have to break it down and start up again and build a better foundation.
Might not have had the jump, but you get up there just in case. No one takes care of it for the second out.
I'm just showing some hops. The arsenal for Chad Bettis. We've talked about his fastball, how it's not as hard as it was 2 years ago when it was 95, 96. But he has more movement on that. It's the curveball and the change that he's utilizing and saying, this is my strikeout pitch now. Whether it's a changeup or the curveball more to the righties, a few more changeups to the left-handed batters.
Well, and just the separation. I mean, some of the things that Walt Weiss talked about yesterday, why they sent Eddie Butler down. Get a little more separation in velocity.
Great point, because for Eddie, it was only 5 to 6 miles an hour. And for a hitter, you can keep your bat in the zone longer when it's only 5 or 6, and you can still hit the ball. If it's 8 to 10, you can't.
He gets ahead of Martinez, does Chad, with 2 outs here in the third. I just like the efficiency overall. I mean, as you said, Jeff, I mean, you have to embrace something for it to help you. The decisions by Steve Foster and Darren Holmes and Mark Wiley and the people working with me, he had to buy into it. And how about Carlos Martinez gets the first hit of the afternoon for the Cardinals with 2 outs here in the third.
For Carlos's third hit of the season, showing everybody how he did it.
Yeah, a little bat flip on that one.
No, one final point on Chad and thinking that he needed to do. The toughest thing for a player is to self-evaluate and to look in the mirror and honestly say, what do I need to improve on? Because I'm in the big leagues. I've made it on some other talent. But to take it to another level, how do I do that?
Yeah, I think sometimes we overlook that element, the work that goes into getting to the big leagues, and then the work really starts. One ball and 1 strike on Wong, who was a strikeout victim on a breaking ball his first time up.
And if you're one of the best players to make it to the big leagues, what is my incentive to change? Because I've made it here. I'm one of the 18,500 plus that have made it to the big leagues.
Yeah, I love the comment you said earlier in the year, and it really struck me. It's great perspective. You could take all the guys who have played at least 1 game in the big leagues and fit them in the Pepsi Center, and with seats left over.
Yes.
In a game that's been played for more than a century, for more than 115 years in what is now considered the major leagues. It all started in 1901. Wong fighting a little more in this at bat. In the strikeout, he got ahead 2-1, and then Bettis disposed of him with 2 more pitches. Wong here keeping the at bat alive. Good block by Nick Hundley. If it doesn't cause any damage, whether it's a run or too many pitches, I never have a problem here at Coors Field, especially in day games when the opposing pitcher gets on base. Keep him out there.
Keep him out there, and with the new clock in between innings.
That'll be a base hit. Martinez will get to third. Now that time the curveball may be expected and not as well thrown. So the Cardinals threatening with 2 outs after Chad Bettis had retired the first 8 to begin the game.
Threw a curveball on the 2-2 pitch, but that was belt high. And that's why Colton Wong stayed on it, drove it to right field.
You know, we talked about getting Matt Carpenter to get out of town without any damage done. You know, here's one of those times where it has become imperative.
Mislocation fastball. Supposed to be down and away. Came inside.
Yeah, you wonder if Carpenter in this skid right now just said, hey, I'm going to take a pitch. And then that happens.
I was talking to Ellis Burke about that exact thing yesterday. When you're in a skid, you'll go up to the plate, say, I'm going to take this first pitch, and it's right there. Next time you go, I'm going to swing at this first pitch, and it's a curveball that bounces at 55 feet, but you swing.
Second best in the league in terms of clutch hitting. He's down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes now.
How about Cameron Maybin being #1 on that list?
Yeah, finally, you know, it's been the when is it finally going to get there for Maybin? And at least right now in the first couple of months with the Braves, maybe the pressure off because there's no spotlight on him now to be one of the guys. And Carpenter does come through. Fastball away, bobbled, throw down to second, and Carpenter's in there. So Brandon Barnes with the bobble adds to the trouble. The Cardinals score first on Matt Carpenter's 31st RBI as he ends an 0 for 14 skid.
And he had been just 1 for 17 on the road trip. Subaru Supermo slices it to left. Brandon, in his haste to try to throw out Colton Wong as he makes the spin, does not secure the baseball in the hand, allowing Carpenter to move to second error of the season on Brandon.
And now the ball gets away, and Wong will score. 2-0 St. Louis. It all started harmlessly with a 2-out base hit by Carlos Martinez.
Way up and in, almost gets the jersey of Johnny Peralta off the glove of Nick. Will go down as a wild pitch because of how far inside it was.
2-0 on Peralta.
And the extra pitches.
Yep.
That Chad has to throw.
He had Martinez down, a ball and 2 strikes. Martinez gets the hit, and things have changed. Good curveball there. But you tell yourself your offense has been playing well. Got to choke it off here and keep the damage to just 2. Count evens now on Peralta, who flied out to Blackmon his first time up in center field. Full count. Not only that the Cardinals have that great mark when they score first, they're 26-5 this year. Two other interesting stats, and that's the first walk issued by Chad Bettis, and for probably the first time in about 3 weeks, things are spinning out of control. Here are the other numbers that I thought interesting. They're 3 out of 4 on the last day of a road trip, and they're 14-4 last game of a series. That's how they built the best record, in those situations where perhaps it's the rubber game, they're winning those, or the chance for the sweep and they're winning those.
They're trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak for only the second time of the season. Haven't been swept this year, but that's how you roll out the best record in baseball. The last losing month, we said it last night, it bears repeating, was June 2012 for the Cardinals at 13-14.
Ball 1 to Mark Reynolds after the Steve Foster visit to Chad Bettis. The shift is set up perfectly. DJ retires Reynolds, and the damage is limited to 2. Rockies with some work to do against Carlos Martinez. Chad Bettis will lead things off against Carlos Martinez, who's allowed a double and an infield single. Chad Bettis looking for his first hit of the year.
It'll also be payback for what Carlos Martinez did last inning.
Martinez ignited the rally with a 2-out single, scoring on the Carpenter base hit, and the wild pitch added a second. One-two pitch, strike 3 called. Chad Bettis notwithstanding, this homestand's been a marked improvement for the offense.
This is the offense we expected to see here at Coors Field. The average is 34, 35 points higher. the home runs, the runs per game. When they needed the big hit, they've gotten it. Everybody's contributing.
That first stretch, the 21, they were 8-13, 5-4 on the homestand. Charlie Blackmon trying to get on top of a high fastball. And boy, Martinez with this lead now really picking up the pace. And so far the young right-hander has had good control. Two and two.
Pretty much as advertised, and you can see even losing Wainwright, Matt Adams, now Matt Holliday last night, Jordan Walden, why the Cardinals are 38-21. It's their pitching. Team ERA 2.72. And some young arms. Walker last night. Now today, Martinez.
There's a little concern. They sent Lance Lynn back to St. Louis for an MRI on his right forearm.
That's never a good. Never like to hear that forearm.
Yeah, because the forearm's connected to the elbow.
I don't know that whole song, but I know those two things are connected.
Pulled, and Wong won't get this one. Charlie's pulled a lot of balls on this homestand. Got that one by Wong, who saved a run with a diving try in the first inning.
And Colton was playing straight up, not to the pull side for the left-hander Charlie Blackmon. He dives, makes a gallant effort to try to stop this, but that was 2-3 feet to his left.
Who wants tacos? If the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 p.m. and get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. So DJ had his 20th multi-hit game yesterday. He has gone 7 for 10 in the series with 3 doubles. Doubled just inside the line down the third base way in the first inning. He got to third base, but as I mentioned a moment ago, Wong made a diving stop to rob Carlos Gonzalez of a hit and keep the Rockies from scoring first.
DJ came into the game second in the National League in batting average at .350, and it's gone up to .353.
Whoa.
Whoa. No, my bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I threw it over there at 95. Mark Reynolds said, I'm ready for that little toss over.
Like, wow, come on. I don't have gear on.
I didn't want to be a catcher.
A little bit low, 2-0 on DJ. Again, what a nice feeling. The Rockies have a stolen base from Blackmon in game 1 of the series, but what a nice situation for any pitcher with the Cardinals. Not only how Molina works behind the plate, but his ability to just eliminate the running game.
Well, he picked off Ben Paulson last night. Ben was out too far, just standing up, and back picked him.
Close on the quick move to first. I mean, teams. Yep. I mean, teams just don't run. There've only been 24 attempts.
God, he's 8 for 20. Throwing out would-be base stealers.
Again, Martinez worried about Blackmon, and you can always tell the situation with Mike Matheny when he feels like, hey, this is a game we have to have. that he has Molina catching day game after a night game. This would be the kind of day when you'd think maybe Tony Cruz gets the chance for a start, but not after the Rockies have won the first 2 games. 2-1 on LeMahieu.
And maybe because Yachty came out of that first game on Monday night about halfway through, so he didn't catch 2 complete games before today. It was just a game and a half.
He came in leading baseball, or leading the National League at least, with 464 innings caught. I say National League because who knows with Salvador Perez of the Royals. This will be playable for Hayward in right. Blackman goes back to first.
2 of the top third basemen, not only in the National League, but all of baseball. And just put their numbers side by side because they're both going to be in Cincinnati here in another month. Just a couple hits ahead, but the power numbers are on Nolan's side, RBIs, and the all-important fielding percentage.
Nolan will sky this one to center. Borges has it, and the Rockies are done in the 3rd. Cardinals tough with the lead. They have the early advantage. Go further by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Cardinals cobbled together a couple of 2-out runs in the 3rd inning. Chad Bettis hoping to get back on form. He had retired the first 8. Grichuk, one of the strikeout victims. This time he's going to go out on a pop-up. Cargo turning his body to help with the sun, makes the grab. As we were talking about, Huey, a couple of innings ago, you get the sun at this time of day, you got to try and get the ball out of the sun if you can.
Yeah, and that's why Cargo turned his body. So we said it last night, Omar Vizquel used to turn around to catch those pop-ups, so you're not looking directly in the sun. You turn your body so you create a different angle.
Molina, first pitch swinging, gets hit number 4 for the Cardinals. And for Molina, another one of the guys who was having a tough trip. He is just 3 for 16 on this road swing. But a 1-out base runner for St. Louis here in the 4th.
But remember, they had 4 games in LA. I mean, they're facing Greinke, Kershaw, all the usual suspects that the Rockies have to face all the time when they play the Dodgers.
Jason Hayward's had a strange year in that his numbers have been much better against left-handed pitchers. Smaller sample size, but a difference of 100 points. But sat with the lefty De La Rosa last night. 1-1 the count. He was a strikeout victim as well. 3 strikeouts in the first 7 hitters for Bettis. But since then, 4 hits, a walk, and 2 runs, plus a wild pitch. DJ, what a stop! What a throw! Not quite 2, but oh my goodness.
Chad Bettis or any other pitcher that's sitting in the Rockies dugout, you have to just smile when you see these plays. DJ flips it from his stomach. I thought he was going to throw it over his head, but he cleared enough space where Daniel could catch it and still get the throw off to first.
That's a remarkable effort. That is really something.
And the Subaru Supermo doesn't do it justice. How hard that ball was hit, how far he had to lay out, catch it, transfer, and also make a good throw.
And Hayward, who runs pretty well, especially out of that left-hand box, they nearly got him.
6 for 7 in stolen bases.
Borges grounded out to Arenado at third his first time up. Well, when you are talking to Hall of Famer Tim McCarver, who's been working the TV for St. Louis this week, Tim said we were talking about pitchers and a guy like Chad Bettis, and he said, why wouldn't you with the gold gloves on that infield? The guy hit it on the ground, you'll do just fine. 3 gold glovers and DJ and Nolan and Tulo, and when Justin Morneau's healthy, he hasn't won one, but he's always finished high in the voting.
Gives you confidence.
And that breaking ball is going to result in another wild pitch. Alert running by Hayward. Nick Hundley did a good job, but when it got more than 3 or 4 feet away from him, Hayward was able to advance.
But just look at Hayward, how he keeps his feet moving, and when the catcher drops to his knee, especially with 2 outs, take the chance to go, and then the ball kicks away 4 or 5 feet. It's an easy play for Jason.
First 2 wild pitches of the year for Chad Bettis. The one last inning cost him a run. Trying to avoid that same fate here. Again, Nick Hundley with a good job on the breaking ball. Cardinals are not biting as much on either the changeup or the curveball as they were in the first 2 innings. You know, a lot of times, isn't that the approach? You want that to look like a strike, and it isn't.
Yes.
But you've got to make it look like a strike.
For Chad, and for the second time through the order, his batting average against goes down into the 120s. But those aren't close enough out of the hand. I think why Chad's doing this, because you have a runner in scoring position. I know the pitcher got a hit off you the first time, but he's due up next. You know, don't make a mistake and let Borges beat you. I'll take my chances again with Carlos Martinez.
What do Bettis and Hundley want to do? A throw out there, somewhat awkwardly, but You put the thought there anyhow.
This is pretty tall. He just had to dive and then reach with the long arm.
Yeah, just like grabbing the last dinner roll at the kitchen table, you know.
Pretty good athlete.
Yes. (3-2), and they did go with the breaking ball. I think Borges thinking that, and if it wasn't close, he wasn't going to bite on it. And Martinez will bat again. With every challenged call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Now Martinez hit a 1-2 pitch up the middle for a base hit, his third of the year last inning, and eventually came around and scored the first St. Louis run. Interesting, put the bunt down and missed it.
Yeah, with 2 strikes. I mean 2 outs. Real interesting.
He looks like an athlete. He looks like a guy who could hit. This is the most that Chad has labored. Look at that 70 pitch total, not yet out of the 4th inning,
and he only had 9 pitches in the 1st inning.
The last 2 have been tough. And falls behind, 2 balls and a strike. Not as crisp by any stretch. This probably like that first game, the no decision he had against the Dodgers when he walked 4 in 5 innings, and he labored there. He threw 106 pitches in 5 innings. Carlos or Willeen. Willeen to the railing, not enough room. I mean, there have been 4 of the 5 starts coming into today with more than 100 pitches, but in 2 of those 4 he threw 8 or more innings. Got him. Strikeout number 4 ends the top of the 4th. Chad Bettis keeps the Rockies in it.
former Cardinal, drafted by St. Louis. This is his 570th game in the big leagues, his 41st with the Rockies. And Jack and Jeff, I was just talking to him about being a Cardinal, and he knows them all. Bob Gibson, Lou Brock, he met Stan Musial. And then we had a conversation about Red Shandies, who at age 92 will still see in uniform when we go to St. Louis. And he said it's been a couple of years since he's hit fungos, but just that history of this organization and to see those guys around really impacted Daniel.
Well, it is so much of what the Cardinals are, Mark, and if we see Red in uniform when we get there in late July, it'll be a nice bonus. He has been in a big league uniform for 70 years.
I remember a few years back when we were in St. Louis and Red Stan Musial came by. He was riding in the car. I think it was opening day. He was riding in the car. What a treat that was.
Yeah, the number of times you get to see Stan play the national anthem on his harmonica. Cargo robbed of an RBI hit in the first inning. Cardinals have the full shift on for this at bat with him leading off. And even with the shift, he beats it. This will be extra bases. Yes. That ball just finding its way by Reynolds and Wong for a two-bagger.
It was almost like an I-back formation in football, the way these guys were staggered with Reynolds and Colton Wong, and he still hit it past them. 9th double of the season, 175th career double for Cargo. E.Y. telling him to go, go, go.
Been on base 21 consecutive games now. So a good chance for the Rockies to cut into this St. Louis advantage. Molina, strikeout victim, his first time up. Cargo's batting average up to 254 now. Now, would you run? Nope.
I don't think so.
Not deep enough with Hayward. That's a plus arm there.
With Cargo at second base, that's the first time that the Rockies had a leadoff man on in the series. Before that, they had been 0 for 18. Fans, check out the On Deck Rooftop ticket package, available online only. It's the most affordable and flexible way to purchase rooftop tickets. Visit Rockies.com/rooftop for more information.
Martinez gets a big first out without the Rockies able to advance Gonzalez to third. Descalso flied out to left. Back in the second.
Daniel, in his 5 years with the Cardinals, played in 4 postseasons. Mike Matheny, in his first, this is his 4th year. In his first 3, he had taken his club to the postseason.
2-0. Martinez in his last 3 starts. Now he worked 7 innings in all 3 of them and got victories. Managed to work around 9 walks. He hasn't walked anybody so far today. And Descalso will finally get tagged. That was a pretty good gambit there.
With Martinez looked at third base, Daniel thought I could pull the sneak attack.
So the Rockies will need a 2-out hit from Nick Hundley. But 9 walks over 21 innings, but through 3 2/3 this afternoon, he's been able to avoid that issue. Really hasn't had too many 3-ball counts.
54 pitches, 53 pitches, 37 for strikes.
Out of play down the right side. Hundley had an infield hit in the hole between short and third. Rockies had settled for that again. But this won't get it, as Wong will grab the pop-up and Martinez works around another double. When we come back, we'll talk with the skipper, Walt Weiss. Cardinals up 2-0 after 4.
Kind of keeping you off balance, but last night, and you hope the trend continues today with the offense scoring and getting some hits later on.
Yeah, we're going to need the timely hit again, because it's going to be tough to bunch a bunch of hits together against Martinez. It's another good St. Louis arm we're facing, but we need some clutch hits.
Good to see Cargo continuing this hot string, starting to look like the guy we expect.
Yeah, last couple of weeks he's really coming around. A lot of good stuff happening from Cargo.
All right, Walt, thanks.
Thanks, Walt.
So Chad Bettis with Cargo and company behind him will try and keep the deficit to just the 2 runs as we move into the 5th inning. The pitch count a little higher than Chad would want, but maybe a crisp inning will get him back to it. Colton Wong, a base hit and a run scored last time up, struck out in the 1st inning. Cardinals are in a stretch where they're playing a lot of road games. They'll go home for 5 and then go right back out on the road again.
Stretch of 15 to 20 on the road.
Right at Cargo. 1 down. Yeah, in fact, looking at their game notes, heading into the All-Star break, 16 of their 30 games before the Midsummer Classic are going to be away from St. Louis, and that's a factor. Although they're above 500 on the road, they have been dominant at home. That's what's helped them build their lead. 22-7 at home, and they're one of only 3 teams to have a winning record in the National League out on the road. Rockies and the Giants are the other 2. Matt Carpenter ended an 0 for 14 with an RBI single to left his last time up. Todd Tishner calling the balls and strikes this afternoon's at a pretty good strike zone. There's a much better change of pace pitch from Bettis to get ahead in the count. Too many guys anymore go without batting gloves, but Matt Carpenter's old school. And he'll have a multi-hit game for the first time in a while, and that's something he was doing much of the first 2 months of the season.
Individual game day suites and party facilities are still available for the regular season. Call 303 Rockies to check availability today.
Only D. Gordon of the Marlins has more multi-hit games now than Carpenter. That's the 24th time he's had at least 2 hits in a game.
Gordon with a lot more speed than Matt Carpenter, so he's going to lay down some bunts. You can see why he'll have those multi-hit games.
Right.
No line speed doesn't take a day off. They don't go in those long, prolonged slumps.
Well, if you allow yourself to use that talent, you know, I think right now in Cincinnati with Billy Hamilton, they're still trying to get him to be a better bunter, to be a better guy slashing the ball. Too many fly balls, your speed sitting on the bench doesn't help.
That's where it's so important in the minor leagues when these guys that have the blazing speed to say bunt once a game. It's okay. You don't need to go out and try to get, you know, 3 triples. Well, lay down a bunt, steal second, steal third. Woo.
Now 1-2 on Peralta. I think one of the kids in the Rockies organization right now, Wes Rogers down in Asheville, who has blazing speed, and trying to get that young man to take advantage of that gift and make it a tool. They're a little high or a little tight, thought Todd Tishner. I guess maybe both. Yeah, 2-2. Got him. Peralta can't believe he went after that changeup. Strikeout number 5 for Bettis.
And that was the pitch he laid off in the 3rd inning when he walked. This time couldn't hold up. That was a changeup on the Subaru Supermo.
Got to be committed when you throw that pitch, don't you?
You can't have any doubt or reservation. And I'm going to throw it, and I'm going to throw it right.
No, this is driven well. It'll one-hop the wall. Blackman up with the ball. They might have a play on Carpenter. The throw is offline. Going to 3rd, and he'll get in there as Mark Reynolds. Now the Cardinals have been big with 2 outs today. Reynolds with a 2-out double makes it 3-0.
Four-seam fastball. Mark Reynolds has 1 swing and 1 swing only. And that hit the plane of his swing. Charlie plays it off the wall and gets it into Daniel. And then the ball tails on him. Short hops, only allowing Reynolds to advance to 3rd. 6th error of the season on Daniel.
Cardinals, all 3 of their runs coming with 2 outs today. Grichuk is struck out and flied out. And Mark Reynolds, that's been the story of his career. If you miss in his area, he can hurt you. He's got a lot of home runs and a lot of runs batted in because guys do miss.
But that's who he is.
Yep.
And that's what he's been his whole career. And he's not about to change. The Cardinals knew that when they signed him. Got to provide some pop off the bench. Now he'll be playing almost every day with Matt Adams hurt.
Two and two now. Grichuk. He had not had much success of late, the Cardinals not a whole lot of success late, hitting just over 200 in the clutch with 2 outs in an inning, but they've come through today twice, plus the wild pitch for the 3rd run, and down on strikes goes Grichuk, but the Cardinals add another run. They lead it by 3 in the middle of the 5th. To give you some perspective, if the Cardinals score at least 3 runs in a game, 3 or more, they are 31-10. And even with my math, that's pretty good.
Go back a ways. Figure out all the percentages.
Barnes called out on strikes first time up, and Martinez not necessarily getting ahead of all that many batters. 10 first pitch strikes through 17 faced.
I would say effectively wild.
Yep.
But not so far wild that guys wouldn't swing at it.
His pitch counts very good, just 58 so far. And Martinez fell down, and I don't know if he hurt himself.
I think he hurt his ankle. And he's been falling hard to the first base side this whole game, or he'll be out of control. He won't finish facing the hitter. He completely falls and then tried to reach back thinking he had a shot at this ball, and that's when he was hurt. Reminds me of Carlos Marmol when he was with the Cubs, how hard he would fall towards first.
Kyle Parker is going to pinch hit for Chad Bettis. First at bat for Kyle since the call up.
Christian Bergman in the pen for the Rockies.
Parker just smoking hot. When he got the call up, hitting in the high 300s over the last 2 months after a slow start. 275 overall with the Isotopes, the Rockies AAA club in Albuquerque. First round pick out of Clemson, the former Clemson Tigers quarterback. And Reynolds will run out of room. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Chad Bettis goes 5 innings, equaling his shortest start of the season. 3 runs earned on 6 hits. He walked a couple and struck out 6. 2 wild pitches, one of which cost him a run. Two and one now on Parker.
You mentioned the draft. The draft is in round 31 as we speak. Still 9 more to go, or 8, 9 more after this.
Yep. That machine gun like fashion. About 30 seconds between picks.
Yeah, you better be ready or you're going to be passed over.
Two and two.
Healthy home run cut from Kyle.
That hit 7 homers and had driven in 33. 15 extra base hits overall. Like I said, most of it over the last 6 weeks or so. This will be a tough chance. They don't get him at second. Good hustle by Brandon Barnes. Brandon might have hurt himself. Walt Weiss and one of the Rockies trainers, Scott Garrett, going out to talk. Might have either jammed a foot or his knee going into the bag.
Your momentum's going so hard. The play's in front of you, and you know you have to get there to get that base hit to keep the force off. And so when you go, you're not thinking about popping up like you would on a normal slide. You're thinking, I got to get in here to get my right foot as quickly as I can into the bag so I'm called safe. Correct call on the Subaru Supermo. Second baseman Colton Wong acting like a first baseman. Did you see the momentum, though, of that? The foot going into the bag and then rolling over the top of it.
Yeah, rolled that right ankle, it appears. Brandon's going to stay in the ball game. For all of us, you know, recreational or playing in competitive sports, when you roll an ankle, to me that's just one of the worst feelings. Just that
initial,
that initial, like, oh, what did I do?
Ow. You could tell. It wasn't until it started to roll that it popped off the bag.
They'll credit Parker with an infield hit. So the Rockies have 2 on and nobody out here for Charlie Blackmon, who has one of the Rockies' hits against Martinez. He singled to right field in the 3rd inning. Well, it was the 6th inning last night that the Rockies answered back, trying to do it a frame earlier this afternoon. 2-0. If the ankle's okay for Brandon Barnes, pretty good speed with he and Parker on the bases. Charlie has Carpenter off the line, but just about even with the bag, trying to cover up that 5-6 hole a little bit.
And the shortstop Peralta way up the middle. Colton Wong's more on the pull side for a double play. You still can't stray too far from second base.
Two and two now. This is the first time in the ball game the Rockies have had 2 base runners on in the same inning.
Well, and Randall Grichuk in left field, very strong and accurate arm, and then in center field, Peter Borges, probably average across the board, but very good closing speed. And then Jason Hayward just has a howitzer in right field. Ball doesn't get more than about 10 feet off the ground, and he just lets it fly.
The 2-2. Got him with a breaking ball. Big strikeout for Martinez.
Kid has some moxie. The 23-year-old thinking, I want to try to overpower everybody, but he comes back with the changeup in a key situation.
It's his 4th strikeout of the day. And again, what he's been able to do when the Rockies have had a man at second base, they've not been able to advance him with a quality out. Look out, DJ. DJ doubled, but they couldn't get him home in the 1st inning. Flied to right in the 3rd.
I've seen more teams try to start to pitch DJ inside, but that's playing into his hand because that's an easier pitch for a guy to inside out and hit it to right field.
And if they don't get it in far enough, he will turn on it.
Yeah, or if they take something off of it. But you have your defense in the outfield playing into the off gap where the center fielder's way over in right center field. A lot of area covering the left side of the outfield. So if you don't get it in enough or you take something off, it's a break. But those are the ones that are hitting the gap or down the line for doubles and triples.
Hit the double in left center field last night that enabled Willeen Rosario to score all the way from first because Borges, the center fielder, just had to run too far, just like Jeff was pointing out.
And that's where he set up today.
Two balls and a strike.
Look at all this area here and over here for DJ.
25 of his 29 RBIs in situations just like this. Had 42 ribbies all of last year. One gets one and gets two. Boy, Carlos Martinez with a big time pitch short circuits another Rockies rally. Cardinals with the lead. Cardinals getting a big hit for Matt Carpenter, his first of the series. The Rockies, much like the Sunday game with Miami, not a lot of hits, but when they've had an opportunity for a clutch one, they've not been able to cash it in so far. Chad Bettis gives way to Christian Bergman.
And for Christian, this is just the third time he's been out there in the month of June. Since May 23rd, he's thrown 3 innings. His last time was against Miami, where he came out just for an inning. So talk about a tough role to be asked to do, but Christian says, I'll do it, whatever you need, Skip.
Well, one of the things that Walt Weiss says about Bergman in this role is the fact that he's a strike thrower. So which
is hard to do when you don't get the reps. like a hitter that gets one at bat every week, and you say stay sharp. How are you going to do that?
But for the most part, this young man who was a draft pick in the mid-20s, the guys that aren't normally expected to make the big leagues, and Bergman defied the odds. Wow. They're wrapped around the corner a little bit.
Foul ball.
Now he said it hit him.
No, that's foul ball.
Yeah. I didn't understand the signal from Todd Tishner.
I think Todd was going to say it did hit him, but it went off the bat and in the glove. And with Yachty just standing at home plate, then he changed his mind.
And Molina will get a base hit. His second straight hit. Cardinals with 7 on the afternoon. Molina, like Matt Carpenter and most of the guys, short-circuited offensively by the Dodgers pitching, and then Hale and De La Rosa in the first 2 games of this series. Jason Hayward robbed of a hit on a remarkable play by DJ LeMahieu in the 4th inning. Rockies nearly turned it into a double play as DJ went sprawling to grab it and get a force.
And that's where it helped to be 6'4".
Yep.
He's 6'2". Not sure he reaches that baseball. Back in the 4th inning. Here's the play off the bat of Jason. Dive, reach, flip to Daniel. Just to have the composure to not panic.
One and 2 on Hayward. Rockies will play 4 games against the Cardinals in St. Louis to wrap up July and the opening weekend of August. What a play by Rosario, and they get the lead runner. Oh, the Bulls, spectacular.
Jason Hayward say, what do I have to do? Get robbed by DJ and now robbed by Willeen. Still a work in progress at first base, but Jack and I, we were here earlier today and watching Willeen. He was out there with Stu Cole, taking ground balls, continuing to work on it. Dives, falls, and knows I've got an easy play at second base. Get that lead runner.
Even with the 2 errors today for the Rockies, they're still flashing the leather more often than not. The errors have not impacted on the scoring. Not quite going to get back to us. 2 strikes on Borges, who has grounded to Arenado and walked. One and 2. Another nice turnout today. They're packed on the rooftop. That's the way to watch a ball game on an afternoon.
You know, you don't have to bundle up. Weather was nice.
You got Wi-Fi up there, you know, you can. Oh yeah, I'm working, boss. That cheering, Oh, it's next door.
It's on my phone.
Yeah.
I was just watching the game on my phone.
Keeping an eye on Hayward. DJ or Cargo? It's going to be DJ. Log on to CFD Rodeo / Toby Keith for your chance to win tickets to see Toby Keith in concert Friday, July 24th at Cheyenne Frontier Days, summer's largest country music festival. Who knows? You might see the Cowboy up there.
There's a great possibility.
Yeah, there's a great chance. Carlos Martinez, a single and a run scored and a strikeout on the day. And doing his work on the mound, scattering 6 hits through the first 5. Bergman on in relief of Bettis. Descalso, long throw and not in time. Carlos Martinez doing a little bit of everything today.
Throwing out 2 hits. He was part of the problem in the 3rd inning for the Rockies. With 2 outs, he had the single to center field. Comes around to score. And now hits one deep into the hole at shortstop. He's not going to get Jason Hayward at second base. Beats it by a half step and helping the umpire at first, Tim Wilkie, make the call with the safe sign.
He was 3 for 14 last year. Now he is 4 for 25 this year, 2 for 3 today. You know, the Cardinals have done their damage with 2 outs today. 2 runs in the 3rd when it started 2 outs and nobody on, and then a 2-out RBI last inning. 1-1 on Wong. Obviously it works for me. Closes fine. Is it a lot about keeping the upper body still, the very wide open stance, and then the quick close by Colton Wong?
Yes, so your head doesn't bounce and cause your eyes to go off when you're trying to track the baseball. See, hitters will open up wide and have that open stance, but you still have to get back close. So he still has to get that foot back into that area, his right foot, to hit.
Without bouncing.
Without his head moving. And to throw in a leg kick. Who was it that used to chew on their was it Matt Williams would chew on his jersey?
Yes.
So that was to tell him to use both eyes to focus on the pitcher. So that's why he would tuck his chin by his shoulder.
Full count on Wong.
That's a common mistake of young hitters and youngsters playing Little League. They're just looking at the pitcher with their lead eye.
A little broken bat, but DJ's going to get to it. A little traffic, but no damage. Rockies deficit stays at 3.
now of the Cardinals wearing number 37. That was strange enough. And I wanted to ask him about the guy that's coming up, Nolan Arenado. And I said, what do other teammates ask you about when they talk about Nolan Arenado? Here's what he said.
He's a highlight reel, so it happens by itself. But I think, to be honest, people have acknowledged that he's an incredible third baseman, and the guy can hit. And he's obviously having a very strong year. And if they ask me anything, it's usually more about what's he like, what's his work ethic, what's he like in the clubhouse, what type of person he is.
And Matt said that, the Cardinals, that's the way that they have their team and the way they formulate their team with character guys. And Nolan is certainly that kind of a guy, but the year he's having now, I think everybody's going to know about him, hopefully coast to coast.
It has been a great start to the career, and he is the baseball equivalent of a gym rat. The one day that Walt sat him down, he said, I thought he was grinding a little bit. I was sitting in Walt's office, and I said, well, I just passed him in the hallway. He had his bat. He was heading to the cage, and Walt just rolled his eyes.
It's like that puppy that just can't get enough of playing ball. You throw the ball, you're tired of throwing it. The dog bring it back, drop it again. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Nolan 0 for 2 today.
11th game this year that Nolan has hit in the third spot. A .357 average, 4 home runs, and 10 RBIs.
And he'll have himself a leadoff single. That's about the third or fourth hit for the Rockies right up the gut.
The third time in the last 3 innings that they've had the leadoff hitter on.
That's what we're talking about with Martinez being able to come up with quality pitches with traffic today. He's not walked anybody, which has really helped. Coming off a 4-walk game against Los Angeles. He gave up 3 hits and 4 walks in 7 innings, 7 shutout innings. Cargo with a double to beat the shift, and the throw of Hayward from right is last time up. Cardinals keep Peralta on the left side of the diamond here. Carpenter, you can see right in the hole between second and third. There's that off speed of Carlos Martinez.
For Martinez, he gets a 43% whip percentage on the changeup. And I think a big number, if you get a whip, would be around 25 or 30%. He's in the 40s.
Tried to come back with it, and Carlos disciplined that time. 2-1. Talk about the comeback ability of the Cardinals. The Rockies are improving in that category. They've had 9 comeback wins now. Two balls, 2 strikes, the count. Played in sunshine for most of the afternoon. Martinez just got too deliberate.
Took a while to get the sign from Yachty.
In that situation, do you think it's a guy like Molina just saying, what do I want to do here? And just take a little more to think about it.
Yes, it is. And no matter how many games you have, you still have to go through your sequences. He's looking over now to see if Mike wants to throw over, the manager Matheny wants to throw over, what he wants to do, and then deliver the sign.
They'll get Arenado. That wasn't hit hard enough for more than that.
Fans, be sure to check out Great Clips charity cuts on June 18th. You can stop by the Great Clips kiosk near left field for a free haircut from Great Clips stylists, with all donations going to Colorado Rockies charities.
And more of the same with Martinez. After every Rockies hit but one today, he has gotten a quality out against the next hitter. The Rockies had the 2 singles last inning to start the frame, that then came back with a strikeout and a double play ground ball. Otherwise, every Rockies hit's been followed by an out. And not being able to help that runner get into a scoring spot. Wallin has struck out and flied to right.
All that being said by Martinez, and the change-ups and the good fastball, you're still at just a hit or two away from tying this game up.
Yep. One and one now on Wallin. In other action around baseball today, the Reds continue the Phillies' woes. 5-2, they knocked off the Phils in Cincinnati. Philadelphia now 22-39. One and two, the count on Rosario. The Rockies will head to Miami after the game and play 4 with the Fish. The Marlins had a less than memorable visit to Toronto. They got swept 7-2 today, and Justin Smoke hit a home run that was stupid long.
Luckily, the roof was closed in the Sky Dome. Otherwise, I would have left.
2-2. And Washington edged the Yankees in New York 5-4. Yankees had more bad news. Andrew Miller, who had taken over as their closer, has gone on the DL.
The first time in Bryce Harper's career today, he faced somebody younger than him.
Stay fair ball. It will not, but out of the reach of Hayward. The day after every Rockies win, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Couple of Dominicans, Rosario and Martinez, squaring off. Good short hop pick by Peralta, and Martinez gets another double play. He's ended the last 2 with twin kills. We head to the 7th. Still Cardinals. dealer. Matt Carpenter's first hit of the series was a big one, lighting the initial run of the game. The Cards would add a second run on a wild pitch, and then a 2-out RBI double by Mark Reynolds scored Matt Carpenter. And that's been all the damage in this one. Chad Bettis allowing the 3 runs. Meanwhile, Carlos Martinez has scattered 7 hits. He's gotten 2 double play groundouts in the last 2 innings. One change for the Rockies. Ben Paulson into the game in left field. I think they probably want to work on that ankle of Brandon Barnes. Christian Bergman gets a swinging strike against Matt Carpenter.
If it's that ankle too, you want to make sure you try to limit the swelling, because you're going to go on a flight later on and that'll balloon up on you.
You know, we'll show you what happened if you're just joining us to Brandon Barnes. He had stayed in the game after it.
But his right foot and ankle goes hard into the bag. The momentum carries him over, and then the whole weight of his body just causes those ligaments to stretch.
Yeah, you'll ice it down for a while. They'll tightly wrap it and probably continue the ice treatment on the flight, because it's a long flight, not only just to get on the airplane where the swelling can happen, but the length of the flight tonight. Matt Carpenter, 2 hits, an RBI, a run scored after striking out in all 4 at bats in last night's game. Keeps yanking. Bergman pitches foul. Got him. Went upstairs with a cutter and strikes out Matt Carpenter.
Matt had been working around everything, pulling it. Tougher pitch to pull when you throw the sinking fastball away from the left-handed hitter. That's why you had the swing and the miss for the strikeout.
First punch out for Bergman. Johnny Peralta 0 for 2 with a walk today. Two and 0. Only 2 walks in the ball game. They've both been issued by Rockies pitching, both by Chad Bettis. Bergman in his 2nd inning of work. More clouds than blue sky now.
I was hoping you wouldn't say anything, because I just looked up and saw the same thing.
Well, they're like airplanes stacked at an airport waiting to land as the layers of clouds grow to the west. 2 and 2 on Peralta.
I was just pretending I didn't see it.
Yeah. Well, get 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. Axel will work the 9th and get out of here with a 4-3 win. How's that sound?
I like that plan.
I don't know how the Cardinals feel about that. 3-2 to Peralta.
I don't really.
Yeah, you're
care.
not too. Yeah, well, nor should you. Yeah, nor should you.
They're just flying back to St. Louis.
Yes. And that's talking with Matt Belisle the other day. That's what he was talking about. The central location of the Cardinals. He says travel is so much different.
Yeah, when I played for the Cubs, there was so many times that you're staying in the same time zone, and you have the inner city, the rival with the White Sox. easy drive back and forth.
That's a pretty good piece of hitting by Peralta to reach out and hook that ball to left on a changeup and get hit number 9 for St. Louis.
Follow the Rockies with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live Rockies baseball. At bat is the up to the minute, up to the moment in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com at bat now.
9 hits on the day for St. Louis. That's a series high for them. Mark Reynolds with a 2-out RBI double to center field. His last time up, he's also popped to second and grounded to second.
Kind of following the draft on the computer. Future Hall of Famer Craig Biggio. His son Connor was drafted today. Guess who he's drafted by? The Astros. University of Notre Dame product.
One and two to count on Reynolds. I saw another young man taken from the Denver area out of Legend High School.
Wyatt Cross. If Wyatt signed to go to North Carolina.
Two and two. Christian Bergman in that tough role. He has surrendered 3 hits in his inning in a third, but no damage yet. Goes to 3 and 2 on Reynolds. Well, for not pitching much of late, he's going to get his work in today.
Yeah, this isn't just a side session.
42 pitches at the moment. Runner goes, swing and a miss, and it's a strike him out, throw him out. Nick Hundley guns down Johnny Peralta, and the Cards are done in the top of the 7th. Just the way it was ordered up. Stretch time at Coors Field. Bottom of the 7th. Former Cardinal Daniel Descalso leads it off for the Rockies. Carlos Martinez still on the mound. Quiet in the St. Louis pen. Rockies have some activity getting underway on their side.
Tommy Kahnle for the Rockies.
Descalso is flied to left and did a little chopper up the first baseline, and Martinez tagged him out eventually. Rockies have had the leadoff man on in the last 3 innings. Just have not been able to do anything with it. Two balls, 2 strikes. '91 pitches coming up here for Martinez.
Martinez won't turn 24 until the middle of September out of Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic.
Just missed with that backdoor breaking ball. Full count. Cardinals getting activity going now on their side of the pins. And there's the first walk of the afternoon by Martinez. And again, the Rockies start the inning the way they want. Double-barreled action. Manis, the right-hander. Segrist, the lefty. Manus. I keep wanting to. It's spelled like Manis. But I guess phonetically, no. Let's see. Single consonant between 2 vowels. The vowel is a long vowel.
That's the
Manus.
Cornell education coming out. I'll remember that from Wyoming.
Well, when the guy who wrote the definitive book on the elements of writing is a professor there, when you mess up on the grammar, you're messing up.
Maybe it's because you paid attention more than I did.
Something wrong with Martinez?
Didn't see anything.
No.
He was fine after the spill he took last inning.
Molina's going to walk as slowly as he can back to the plate. Not only to conserve energy, but that gives Manus and Segrist at least a couple of more pitches to throw. Nick Hundley, an infield hit and a pop-up today. Got a glimpse a moment earlier. Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach, and Mike Matheny looking at the lineup card. Of course, you've got Paulson, a lefty, who has come in for Brandon Barnes, and people like Tulo and McHenry still available on the bench for the pitcher spot.
Then maybe they just go with the lefty for one batter, then switch over to the right-hander.
And the Rockies, of course, also have switch hitting Rafael Noah. Two and one. Not quite as crisp with the breaking pitches.
Taking more time in between pitches. I think this will be his last hitter, no matter what happens.
I think
unless
so.
he gets a double play, but he just looks like he's almost out of gas.
Ball 3. You mentioned the 9 walks in the previous 21 innings. Had gone 6 innings today without issuing a walk. Now in danger of doing it back to back. As a hitter, when you see a guy laboring, Jeff, would this be a situation where you might take this pitch?
Or what we like to say, keyholing, where you're looking like through a keyhole of a door. That's where you want the baseball, just in that one spot.
Full count on Hundley.
pitches for Martinez. His season high is 108.
Not likely that Descalso will run. And it's bounced to third. They'll go to second for one, and a great slide by Descalso keeps the double play from happening. But he got the ground ball and gets the lead runner.
Daniels always played the game hard and the right way. Nothing dirty about this slide. You're trying to break up two. You go in, you slide over the top of the bag. Colton Wong didn't get out of there. That's partially his fault. Clean, hard slide. That's what you have to do. Break up the double play.
Martinez will stay on to face Paulson. Big Ben batting for the first time, a .323 mark since the call up. 4 homers and 9 RBIs. 21 for 65 for Ben. Waves at the off-speed pitch. Yes.
What makes that pitch hard to hit is not only the location, but the pitcher's running away from that spot. Meaning he's falling so hard towards first base, but throwing it away from the left-handed hitter. That's why we've seen some wild swings.
So it gets that 41% whiff ratio.
Yes.
And then paints the outside for a strike. I don't think Ben liked the
didn't
call.
like that at all. But he was helped from Yachty the way he received it and held it. So that's not a strike.
Big gap in right center field between Borges and Hayward. But both guys cover ground in a hurry. Right above us. For the moment, Rafael Noah is in the on-deck circle. And if Paulson gets aboard because he's a switch hitter, if they are going to make a change, it challenges him. Driven to left center field. Borges won't catch up to it. And it gets over the wall and gone. A clothesline to left center. Touch 'em all time for Ben Paulson. It's a one-run ball game.
And that ball just kept going. I thought it was going to be a gapper. He's going to drive in a run, maybe a double. And Ben didn't even really finish his swing. Cut it off because it was away from him. He needed to stay through it. I guess he stayed through it pretty well because that goes into the first row.
And Mike Matheny's out to make what looks like will be a double switch. Ben Paulson, the Clemson Tiger, making things interesting. It's a one-run lead for the Cardinals, and the switch is going to take place at shortstop. Peralta's going to leave, and we'll get a new pitcher on the scene. He got the ground out. Mike Matheny decided to stay with Martinez for one more batter. That proved to be a mistake. Rockies down a run here in the 7th. 9 at bats. Brings on Kevin Segrist, the left-hander, to face Rafael Noah, pinch hitting for Bergman.
And right-handers are hitting less than left-handers. Lefties at 323 clip, right-handers 167. For Segrist, fastball was it over 80% of the time, 94, 96 miles an hour, and then a changeup and slider mix after.
Noah tied for the league lead with 7 pinch hits this year. 7 for 21 in the pinch for Rafi. 4 for 7 as a right-handed hitter. Down 2 strikes to Segrist with 1 out in a 1-run game now. And strike 3 called. Five strikeouts for St. Louis pitching on the day. Rockies in 1-run ball games this year are 9-10, 5-7 at home, 4-3 on the road.
Cardinals have played 21 one-run games.
That tells you they're very used to this type of atmosphere.
Kind of reminds you of the Giants.
Blackman's base hit came back in the 3rd inning. One ball, 1 strike. Well, you get it back to a 1-run deficit, and you still have McHenry and Paulson, or McHenry and Tulowitzki, excuse me, still available on the bench.
And you have the last at bats.
Borges with lots of room to get under this one. That will end the inning. But Ben Paulson brings the Rockies offense alive with a home run to left center. Cardinals lead by a run after 7. Hard to get back on the mound after having Tommy John surgery, and when Otto isn't getting treatment, he's probably got a camera in his hand to share his love of photography through social media. All that, and he makes an appearance at the Root Sports Studios after the game on Rockies Real Time on Friday. 3-2 ball game now as we move into the 8th inning. Rockies will bring Tommy Kahnle to the bump.
Fourth appearance this season for Tommy. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Last year he's up the whole year as a Rule 5 guy. He sent down during spring training, back up again. Still throws extremely hard.
Grichuk 0 for 3 with a couple of punch outs is the first man he'll face. You saw that graphic a moment ago. A right-handed batter has yet to get a base hit off of Kahnle in the limited use that Tommy's had.
Still for Tommy, it's about throwing strikes.
Yeah, 3 walks, a couple of hits, and the 3 strikeouts.
I see that tweet there. Jordan Serena, congratulations to him. I coached Jordan when he was a youngster, the same high school as my sons. Good friend of my son Kyle. Congratulations, Jordan and the whole Serena family.
Out of Chaparral?
Chaparral, then via Columbia University. Drafted by the Angels.
This will be the first hit by a right-handed batter. And it will cover the distance. Grichuk with his 3rd home run of the year. Big run back for St. Louis.
Huge run. You fought your way back with the home run to get back within 1. You need that shutdown inning. And then the first batter comes up. It takes a yard the opposite way. Grichuk, he changed the bat angle to allow him to stay into the zone more of a flatter bat plane than having the bat straight up and down.
Cardinals have homered in all 3 games in the series. Carlos Martinez still watching the action, now with a little more of a cushion for the bullpen to try and secure the victory for him. And Kahnle, after giving up the homer, misses 3 straight to Molina. Cardinals with 46 homers on the year now. They've hit 4 in the series. 2 Monday, 1 yesterday, and now the Grichuk homer here today. Full count on Molina.
Think about the Molina family and the catching rich history. Their dad was a second baseman. All-star second baseman down in Puerto Rico.
Well, how many times have we heard about infielders, more often third basemen, but finding infielders who get converted to catcher either because of body type or just maybe a better fit?
Hear it all the time.
Got him. So Kahnle down 3-0, comes back to strike out Molina. 1 away here in the St. Louis 8th.
This is a power fastball that's put on the black away from Molina. Tardy on the swing. He was just trying to foul that off. He wasn't trying to put it in play because he knew he couldn't do anything with it.
9 strikeouts for Colorado pitching today. Hayward, one of the victims of Chad Bettis back in the 3rd inning. He's been robbed of a hit the last 2 times. Fielder's choices on diving stops by LeMahieu in the 4th and Rosario in the 6th. Cardinals have out hit the Rockies 10-8. Just inside the line, and Hayward will have a double. I don't know how it stayed fair.
I don't either.
It did.
11th double of the season for Jason. Right over the bag. Hayward said, I'm not going to try the right side of the infield. I'm going to go to the left. Dropped the last 2 times.
Tommy Kahnle, after Berkman went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits but no runs, a couple of strikeouts. Bettis went the first 5, allowed 3 of the 4 runs. Borges takes strike 1. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Quiet in the Cardinals' pen, so that means Seacrest is going to stay on, we would assume, in the 8th inning. Hard slider for a called strike 2.
Well, last time Seacrest pitched was in the Dodgers series, so
Yep.
he's got some innings left. Plus they have a shorter bench. They have 3 other guys on the bench. With the injury to Holiday, they called up a pitcher, so Mike Matheny decided to go with the double switch and put the extra guy out there.
Descalso will take care of Borges. Hayward able to get back to second. And part of the reason, just what Jeff was referencing, is why they double switched. And Cosmo will bat here with 2 outs. He came on in the double switch in the bottom of the 7th. Doesn't play a lot. 0 for 2 in this series.
Was it a couple years ago in the playoffs he kind of burst on the scene?
Yep. Yeah, that was part of the reason it was going to be either he or Descalso. They were not going to keep both these guys as they looked at their roster in the off season, and Cosmo got the nod, and Descalso came over to the Rockies. 2-0 on Cosmo. Check on Hayward, a long look. And ball 3. He was 3-0 on Molina and came back to strike him out. Hate to give a free pass to a guy hitting 104.
And then to bring the left-hander up next, who has more power in Colton Wong.
Taking all the way, you'd expect that. Rockies will have LeMahieu, Arenado, and Gonzalez, the scheduled hitters, in the bottom of the 8th. Where the home run here, leading off the inning by Grichuk, seems even bigger. Full count now on Cosmo. Brendan Barnes, who had to leave the game with the ankle problem. You can see him favoring that right leg a little bit. Sure, it's taped up right now, and we'll probably get some more ice on it before he climbs on the bus to head to the airport. Ball 4. Now 4 walks, 4 strikeouts for Tommy Kahnle since the call up. Well, Troy Hawkins might be rejoining the team soon. The Rockies would have to make a move, and in all likelihood it could be Kahnle.
We already talked about Corey Dickerson. Probably coming back in the next few days down in Miami.
Colton Wong, a single and a run scored in 4 tries. This will be a tough chance. Arenado got him. But a leadoff homer by Randall Grichuk gives St. Louis some insurance. Rockies are down a pair. Pitch, Ben Paulson goes the opposite way for his 5th home run of the season. Got the Rockies back in this one. Cardinals got a home run from Grichuk in the top of the 8th, but the Rockies are down just 2 as they face Kevin Segrist, who got Charlie Blackmon to end the 7th. DJ LeMahieu 1 for 3, a double on the day, takes strike 1.
St. Louis's bullpen's tough to get after too. They're 2nd in the major leagues with the ERA of 2.01. Kansas City is better at 174. Last 14 games, there's 3 earned runs in 33 innings.
Christian Friedrich is up in the Rockies bullpen, and Mike Matheny knows he needs this one. He's already got his closer, Trevor Rosenthal, in their pen.
Might be a 4-out save.
1 and 2 on DJ.
Cardinals are off tomorrow. They got some time to rest before they play Kansas City at home.
Oh, talk about being in the grinder. They had those 4 games in Los Angeles. They come here for 3 tough games, and then they'll get Kansas City, one of the best teams in the American League.
Well, and one of the surprise teams in Minnesota right after.
Yes, that's right. Strike 3 called. I think DJ thought that pitch was going to keep working in off the plate, and it straightened.
Coors Field, it's available year-round for special events, and most areas of the ballpark can be reserved. Call 303 Rockies for more information.
Nolan Arenado, a base hit up the middle in the 6th inning. Rockies need a base runner to get that tying run to the plate here in the 8th. Segrist, a 1.82 ERA coming in.
Less hits and innings pitched.
35 strikeouts. Nolan going the right side, but it's going to slice into the seats. Yeah, how about that? 35 strikeouts in 25 and a third innings. Gets Arenado. And we're getting a little bit of rain starting to fall. Not all that heavy, but some of the
umbrellas popping up.
Yep. And some of the 30,000 plus on hand here this afternoon, looking for some protective covering. Carlos Gonzalez, a double and 3 tries on the day, extending his on base streak to 21 and his hitting streak to 8. Well,
I'm sure he's just glad when he looks up at the scoreboard that he's hitting over 250.
Yep.
You say, what, just 250? But where he was,
been a long, hard pull.
Journey.
Yep. Bit of a delayed call by Todd Tishner.
And you wonder if he's starting to think about the rain and trying to speed things up.
Yeah, borderline pitch goes the way of the pitcher. Segrist strikes out the side, and the Rockies 8th. We head to the 9th. Rockies down a pair. On a new pitcher here in the top of the ninth. It's left-hander Christian Friedrich.
Christian's kind of been the jack of all trades out there. Doesn't have the long innings like Christian Bergman, but he'll be in here where it's you're down by a couple runs or up by a couple runs. Has to do many different roles this year. Kind of embracing what he's found out in the bullpen. Just 6 walks and 25 in a third inning.
He might be just facing one guy in the left-handed hitting Carpenter.
You have Brooks Brown to follow him up if you want in the bullpen. He was up last half inning.
Got Tony Cruz on deck to pinch hit for Segrist, and then another right-handed batter in Reynolds after that. But Friedrich's got to throw strikes in this left against left scenario. Carpenter's been involved today. His first 2 hits of the series. He has scored a run, driven in a run. Charlie Blackmon coming on and is going to get there.
Go down at Walt, see if he's going to wait until the hitter's announced before he makes his move. That's how the game is played.
Cruz announced, the skipper makes a change. So Brooks Brown will come on to tangle with the pinch hitter, and Mark Reynolds after that, trying to keep the Rockies down a pair here in the top of the 9th inning. We'll be back for the rest of the 9th inning. Off the disabled list for Miami to pitch against David Hale, Russin, Kendrick, Hale, and De La Rosa. Sunday, the De La Rosa Heron matchup. That'll be fun to see.
Couple veterans today. Tom Kohler took the loss for the Fish. Now Brooks Brown, 22 games. Since he's come off the DL, he's been scoreless in 7 of the 9 games that he's appeared in.
And the 2 times he gave up a run, that happened when he walked the first man he faced. Tony Cruz, a .237 hitter, pinch hitting.
Two for 12. As you see there is a pinch hitter with 5 punch outs.
Rosenthal preps in the Cardinals bullpen. One ball, 1 strike on Cruz. Rockies will have Rosario, Descalso, and Hundley scheduled, and As I mentioned, Tulowitzki and McHenry available if the skipper wanted to pinch hit. Got Paulson and then the pitcher's spot if the Rockies extend something in the inning. And 1-2 now on Cruz.
Guy we have to recognize in the draft, Billy Schmidt, scouting director for the Rockies. His son Matt, who goes to Regis, was drafted by the Yankees.
He's committed to the University of Texas.
Congratulations to the Schmidt family.
Blackman coming on, and again Charlie makes a nice catch with a little extra slide for the style points. Charlie's a very, excuse me, Jeff, I was going to say a very solid outfielder. I think he's better coming in than going back.
I would agree, and that's why he'll play a little bit deeper than some other outfielders. It's the break on the ball. You're saying the slide, he slid a long ways. It looked like a slip and slide.
Yeah, a little bit of rain has been falling, so probably somewhat slick on top. When we talk about the Grichuk home run in the 8th inning, you can also look at Mark Reynolds, who got the 2-out RBI double on the first pitch Chad Bettis threw to him in the 5th inning. After Bettis had retired him easily the first 2 times. Blackman's going to get all 3 putouts. The Rockies will have to rally against one of the best closers in baseball. 4-2 St. Louis. Martinez, the 23-year-old right-hander, was terrific in limiting the Rockies. You see the 8 hits. The Rockies finally got to him late in the 7th inning, but for most of the game when he needed a big pitch, he was able to come up with it. And now he'll hope that his closer, Trevor Rosenthal, can finish it off.
Trevor 19 of 20 in saves, and the stats that are highlighted in yellow, yeah, those are league leaders. He also has a scoreless streak of 15 1/3 he's working on.
45 saves a year ago.
And it's not easy. It's going to be 98 miles an hour, sometimes hitting 100. 99, that was one off.
Well, you said 98 to 100.
I was just
You were
averaging.
bracketing.
Saying here, this is what you have to look forward to.
Threw that high gas, and Willeen tried to get on it. Grew up near Kansas City, so a Missouri product all the way. Carpenter for out number 1. Who wants tacos? Fans follow at RootSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies scores 7 or more runs. Daniel Descalso walked to start the 7th, and then with a good hard clean slide broke up a potential double play, and that kept a man on board when Paulson hit the home run. Otherwise, he is grounded out and flied out. And quickly down 2 strikes.
There's the triple digits, 100 miles an hour.
And up. There had been some talk, would he be better served in their starting rotation?
Do you want him for 30 games or do you want him for 60 or 70?
Yep. Last year appeared in 72 games. Had 6 losses, 2 and 6, but the 45 saves, and then even better this year, 19 out of 20 so far, and a glittering ERA of just over .6. Well, ball 3, Descalso making him work. 10 walks in 28 innings, so he can have that problem. That was borderline, but I think Daniel felt he had to take a swing.
Didn't have much chance as hard as that pitch was thrown.
Rockies need a base runner.
Hitters, when somebody's throwing that hard, don't try to feel like you have to match their speed with a swing that hard. They'll supply the power. Just think about using your hands.
Foul tipped into the glove of Molina, and that's the 2nd out. Again, going upstairs at 100 miles an hour, but close enough to the top, you have to swing.
And then the soft hands from Yadi. Sometimes that's just luck by the catcher. You get the foul tip going in the glove, but Yadi here with the 7 gold gloves behind the plate.
Well, Nick Hundley will try and keep it alive. Now Paulson on deck, and then the pitcher's spot. One ball, 1 strike. Throw it that hard in that spot. Well, it's just not right.
When he's missed with his changeup or his slider. He hasn't missed too often with his fastball.
And the Rockies are down to their last strike. Rockies have had the luxury this year of John Axford stepping forward when Adam Ottavino went down with the injury. When you've got a closer with consistency, it makes all the difference. So you think about it, he has 19 saves. They have 38 wins, and only once when he has come in have they not secured the victory in his 20 save chances.
That's why I think guys that can close out games are more valuable than that starter. As long as you have enough of those.
And the convention of umpires from St. Louis couldn't believe that wasn't strike 3. He doesn't mess around either.
No.
Pretty quick worker. That's why Nick asked for time, I think. Got him. And that's the game. The Cardinals salvage one. The Rockies win the series, but St. Louis wins the finale. Carlos Martinez improves to 7-2 on the year, and Chad Bettis takes his first loss of the season. Trevor Rosenthal save number 20. Rockies head out on the road, and we're going to head out to the gang at the desk for the Toyota postgame report.
All right, thanks, Jack. The Rockies end the homestand 5-5, out on the road now for 6 coming up in the Toyota postgame show. We'll set you up for that.
Sometimes you just run into a buzzsaw. Carlos Martinez off-speed stuff was incredible today.
Yeah, he made great pitches when he needed to, got traffic, got out of it pretty quickly.
We'll be right up on the Toyota postgame show.